and the danger of ilm al-kalam, and how ilm al-kalam is a poison, akhi. Look, akhi, it's upon you to guide the people. Yes? For example, I'll give you an example. Imagine there's, the concept of evil. Some Muslims have written a book to refute it, yeah? That doesn't make any sense to me. You know why? Why? Okay, I can refute it easily without writing a book. You know why they had to write a book? Because, you know why? To refute the concept of evil. If there's evil, do you know why? Because some Muslims abide by the way of the Western philosophers. Not in order, because there's daruriyat in Islam. Daruriyat. Daruriyat is known by necessity. Does the philosophers accept that? They don't accept that. You have to prove everything. Yes? You have to prove everything. And now, when we know that daruriyan, that Allah is the creator of everything, whatever occurs, there's a wisdom behind it. Simple. Okay? You can give examples. I'm not saying don't give examples, but it's known. So when you start debating in depth about it, you bring more confusion than clarity. Because why? They said the hardest thing to prove is the most obvious thing. You understand, Akhi? Yeah, you agree with me, Saif?
I agree with you, but still, sorry, we're going to start. See, like, philosophy back then and now it's not the same.
The same. That's what you think. That's what I thought too.
I don't agree with like philosophy. Aristotle said the only
Yeah, but it's not only there's Indian philosophy, Egyptian philosophy, Western philosophy. Yeah.
But that's a good point as well, though. When he says that philosophy changes through times and places, so when you get the statements of the Salaf who rebuked philosophy, do you not think that the philosophy they were referring to was that philosophy used by Jahm and Safwan?
No. It's the same because why? Philosophy what is in our time, like I said. Philosophers in our time, not Jahm and Safwan time, in our time. If you tell them there's something called fitra, something daruriyat, do they accept it? No, they say you have to prove it. What's his name? You remember the British philosopher who wrote a book about how to prove daruriyat. Daruriyat does not need proof. That's contradiction. Because daruriyat is self-evident. It's like you proving to me, I'm speaking to you, that doesn't make any sense. So from that, that's what I'm saying, akhi. There is certain things. That's why Islam comes with addressing daruriyat. So any human being who is sincere, doesn't have an evil heart, will accept it. But someone who is poisoned, has an evil heart, will never be satisfied with anything. Like even if you use philosophy to refute doubts about evil, they have another question. You understand? They will have even, like for example, sorry because I'm speaking more, forgive me, barakallah fikum. There's a brother from America, he tried to refute the doubt and never asked God to create me. Why he created me, yeah? I never asked. The way you refute it, alhamdulillah, it's simple. You don't even entertain it because it doesn't make any sense. One brother said, you know what he said? He said, I would say to this guy, imagine you wake up and you see food in front of you. Yeah? Food in front of you. And you eat it. Would you not thank me? You would thank me, he said, yeah? Yeah, but someone who has evil heart, like philosophers, generally speak, what he says, he said, yeah, but if I don't eat it and I eat it, I don't say thank you, would you punish me? Why are you going to punish me? Who bring doubt? See? But Salafi comes in. Your question doesn't make any sense. Because if you need Allah to ask you, then He has to create you. If Allah creates you, you already submit that He's the creator and you are the created. He is the Lord of everything, then you should submit to Him. You don't question Him. Simple. Allahu Akbar, Salafi way. So what you do? You refute the question, you don't even entertain it. Alhamdulillah. هذا ليبيا خلاص politics.
والله no, I mean like look the scared.
We're all good.
Barakallah fik. Do you know why, akhwa? Yeah? Do you know why? Do you know the people? Sorry. Do you know why people don't know? Everyone.
Do you not think there's a middle ground though? Where, because I know people who are sincere and genuinely ask philosophical questions, who come from they're asking from a point of sincerity. But there's no
What
way.
is philosophical question, for example? Give me an example of that. Because I'm not saying if someone's sincere, like, understand me correctly. Alhamdulillah, I mean, I've been here 15 years. I give da'wah. Anyone, even they come with the most ridiculous question, I say answer it. And if I see they're sincere, I carry on. If I'm not sincere, I will rebuke them with the Quran. Brother, sorry to cut you. Well, let's go back to something I want to mention. You said about the kuffar do not believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
So there's no point telling them Allah said, yeah?
Yeah.
That's not correct. That's incorrect what you said. You know why?
No, I mean, I said that they don't believe in the premise of Allah. So to say Allah said to them,
Yeah, but you don't have to say Allah said. I understand that Uthaymin said that. But even you say Allah said because you want to accept it or not, you don't want to accept it. Because when Allah said something, it's not just, when Allah said something, it's something which any human being with a sound reasoning and a sound natural inclination will gravitate towards it. Maybe he has some doubt, you can refute it. Let me bring you back, show you the danger of your statement. The kuffar of Quraysh, they never believed in day of judgment. صحيح؟ وما يهلكون إلا الدهر. There's nothing will perish, make us perish except the time. So why Allah is threatening them with day of judgment when they don't even believe in a day of judgment?
you tell me.
You see, akhi? Because deep down they do believe, but they're too arrogant to submit to that. So let us use the Quranic way. The Quranic way, you know, Quran is powerful. That's what Quran from Allah. Quran has intellectual arguments and psychological arguments. Some people, regardless how much intellectual argument, they're too arrogant to accept that. So what you do, you change it up, fear Allah. And you're going to stand before Allah. Regardless how many times you're going to try to use a nonsensical argument against your creator, you will die. And there's a punishment for you. You know, you can't, sorry, Habibi, and you don't have to say it loudly. Say you're going to die and stand before your God, the one that created you. If you accept it, leave him with this. You understand? So that's if you say, so what, there's many verses where Prophet threaten them with day of judgment, threaten them with the punishment, with the hellfire, because they believe in it. But because why people don't accept, why people don't follow Islam, either there's psychological reason or a social reason. Either psychological factor, or social factor. What do I mean by psychological factor? Psychological factor, the person is arrogant, he knows the truth. Or he knows that Islam teaches something which is forbidden that he desires and he likes. But he's not going to tell you. Some people, they will say it openly. I like this and that's why I don't become Muslim. But majority of times, he's going to try to justify his disbelief and not accepting Islam by quote-unquote philosophical arguments and intellectual arguments. Or a social factor, like I believe Bob and other than them, they believe Islam is the truth. But because people look up to them amongst their community, so what they do, they start looking for any argument against Islam to justify their disbelief. Or they know if by accepting Islam, their own family will go against them. You understand? So that's what it boils down to. Not it boils down, Islam is not clear to them, or the message in the Quran. No, it's clear to any human being. Wallah, I've been doing that for the last 15 years, ya akhi Saif. Any human being who is sound reason, non-Muslim, atheist, agnostic. I spoke to a woman from LGBTQ community. She was a lesbian. Akhi, the first time I spoke to her, I broke down Islam to her. She said, you know, it makes sense to me. I said, become Muslim. She said, I have something to tell you. So, oh, come on, what's going to tell me, you know? She said, I'm a lesbian. I said, okay, as a lesbian, okay, as haram in Islam, it's a major sin, it's dangerous, no doubts about that. I broke it down for her. Why is haram in Islam? She said, you know what, I want to become Muslim. Wallahi, what I use, she's an atheist, akhi. I use the Quran, I told her Allah said. You know, but some people, Uthaymin said, if they have something against Quran, if you say Allah said, just shut down straight away, just get the argument. Yeah, Quran is sufficient. Sufficient, akhi, for every time and every place.
Shamsi, have you found more, in your 15 years of discussions, have you found more people come with emotional argument rather than an intellectual one?
No, people come, there's no one can reject Islam because of intellectual arguments. Yeah. Emotional. Yeah,
like
never.
Something happened when there was a little kid with their father, something like that. And
then like my father, like a person said, I don't want to become Muslim because when I was young, my father did something to me. She was a girl. I said, look, your father, what he did is evil, no doubt, but that's no justification for you to not accept God. You understand? That's called emotional arguments. And Allah tests us all our time. Because, you know, even the Quran mentions that Allah would test us, حتى يقول الرسول والذين آمنوا معه متى نصر الله ألا إن نصر الله قريب. Until the prophets and the people that believed in him, with him, they will say, when Allah's victory will happen. They will be shaken by the tests and the trials and tribulations. There's a wisdom behind it. But you know what we have to teach our brothers and sisters? Al-ubudiyya, servitude. They understand you nothing. Allah destroyed nations before us. Allah destroyed Fir'aun wa Haman wa Qarun. So when you learn ubudiyya, as Hamad al-Ansari, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, he said, we live in a time when the people become rebellious against God. And these people, you can remind them, but also remind them with a threat and with al-wa'd, Jannah. Alhamdulillah, wallah khair, akhi. And akhi, compare, may Allah bless you safe. Compare with the people that use philosophy. And the people who use the Quran and Sunnah, how many people accept Islam by way of people, Quran and Sunnah. Not because of me, or because those brothers who use Quran and Sunnah, it's because of the blessing of the Quran and Sunnah. Wallahi, using philosophy, long-winded discussions.
Some people would argue that intellectual proof is a part of philosophy. Like, if you give an example how, like, to prove, so for example, you get ayah of Quran,
Yeah.
you explain the ayah, like, with an example. Some people might say that philosophy is a logical proof.
Yeah, you see now, I understand that, yeah. But that is not, it's not, because why? Firstly, philosophical argument, philosophy, we know what is it. Like I said, philosophy is based upon what? Skepticism. Doubting, daruriyat. You have to prove everything. Yes? So according to philosophy, you showing a verse in the Quran, you have to prove that first. But the Quran, logic, for example of that, fitrah. They say you have to prove to me there's a fitrah. But fitrah is self-evident. How will you prove to you it's a fitrah? If I prove to you it's a fitrah, then the fitrah needs to prove.
That's why Aristotle had that, what's it called? What did he have? I don't agree with this guy, but what do you have? He had the law of non-contradiction or something.
Yeah,
That goes in line with the fitrah.
No, he had 10 categories, okay? The 10 categories, which is about God. Okay, the law of no contradiction, Aristotle never had it. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
A child knows that. Ibn Taymiyyah mentioned, example of that, Ibn Taymiyyah,
But that's
he mentioned.
fitrah, though, innate. You like, it's within.
No, but the philosophers, they tell you, no, that's not a fitrah. They will explain to you, understand? That's what I'm saying. You don't entertain them, akhi. Because everything, they can bring doubt about everything, akhi.
So what's the actual fine line between like a logical proof and then philosophical?
A philosophical argument, you have to prove it. You have to prove what is known by necessity.
Okay.
A logical argument, you don't need to prove the logical argument. It's proved by itself. And that's what is used in the Quran. Like even I'm خُلِقُ min غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ in the verse. I'm خُلِقُ min غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Were they created by nothing? Or did they create themselves? Allah is not showing us. Here Allah is not just saying us. Here the ulama mentioned this is not Allah's asking. No, this is a rebuking question. Like a rhetorical question. Are you sure? Are you okay that this universe was created by nothing? You understand? Of course, Allah. But I'm just saying like in our own wording. Yes. You understand, akhi? There's no need. This proof is not needed. You understand? That's why when the fitrah, because the messengers address the fitrah. أفي الله شك من هو الله فاطر السماوات والأرض. Are you doubting Allah? Now in the Western world, and many Muslims, they doubt Allah, the most obvious thing. And when you try to prove the most obvious thing, you go for long. That's why this is some our brothers. Huh?
You're going forever, man.
Because why? Every proof needs proof. Every proof needs proof. Every proof. But Islam comes in with the starting points. The philosophers, they leave off starting points to go to look for the starting point that they left. This is my point. They leave the daruriyat, and then they start looking to prove daruriyat, which they already left it.
Shamsi, even with the fitrah, you're right, because I've seen philosophers say that the fitrah is parallel to the child-parent complex.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think they just bring too much shubuhat to the.
Well, I don't even explain
They
it.
do. They bring a lot of doubt. But I was just
destructive
thinking,
doubt.
I never really entertained it. Obviously,
That's good.
I watched cause I'm a very a logical person, so I don't just you know what I mean? I check things through. Even when I read the Quran, I see the proofs there. Like, even Surah Al-Qasas, you know what I mean?
Surah Qasas, yeah?
Yeah.
Beautiful surah, akhi.
You know when Allah.
Yeah.
The person, like, the atheists,
Wait,
they
he's thinking.
don't believe, yeah? There's just
Sorry.
like, at the end,
No, it's
like,
fine, it's fine.
when he make accident, he gonna die, like, when there is in the fire and there's nobody to help him, yeah? He will ask God, yeah?
That's true.
Because the fitrah inside of him, there's a
Barakallah
God, and
fi.
he know about it.
Barakallah fi. You know what the ulama mentioned? You know there's a fitrah. If an atheist has a fitrah, by trying to negate it. How? The atheist says, the question atheists prove Allah's existence. And the proof that fitrah. They say if there is God, why there is why there is evil? Who said evil is not good? Where do you get that from? Understand? Something within them tell them evil is not good. So who created you with that? You're pre-programmed, evil is not good. But you just misunderstand that Allah allowing evil because there's a test.
That's why
In order for, there's many wisdom behind it. Yeah.
Some atheists, they say, oh, there's no good and evil. They try and reject all of it.
Yeah, I
They
know, man.
As soon as they accept there's good or evil, there has to be a God.
You know, Shamsi, even last week, not last week, but I saw a video where you had a discussion with a guy and he was brought to you the problem of evil. You brought to him the arguments about the attributes of Allah, the wisdom, life is a test, afterlife, and the free will. And then next week he came to take his shahada.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, he's from America.
The American brother.
Yeah, he was sincere, man, like keep him firm, you know. Have you not seen the video when the guy told me? He said, I think it's a dream.
Yeah, I posted on my Insta,
I said to him, you can have your phone, please. I said, it's a dream, bye-bye. You know, there's another one. I spoke to him for long, yeah? He said, there's nothing certain. So I still had his phone. I gave it to him at the end. I said, you sure? He said, yes. I said, you never gave me the phone anyway. It's no certain. He woke up. You see how he woke up? Yeah. Why? Because you put him in the real test. That's why, my brothers, many people come to Speaker's Corner debate against Islam. Wallahi, the argument that they use, they will never live by it when they go outside the park. Wallahi, they never. That's it, you know. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا يُجَادِلُ فِي آيَاتِ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Those who debate against Allah's verse except disbelievers. Disbelievers, they are arrogant. Because Allah's verse are clear.
Shamsi, why do you think, you see, with skepticism, in their life, their daily life, they're not really skeptical like about the doctor, about their family, but when it comes to God, they flip the logic.
Yeah.
And they try.
I mean, there's two types of skepticism. There's one which is praiseworthy, you know that? Yeah. But the blameworthy, like you start doubting everything. Yeah. So you start doubting even your own selves. Like one of them, I was speaking to him, yeah? And he's like, Prophet Muhammad, what he did, he was wrong, he was this. I said, hang on. You told me there's no certainty. So there's possibility what Prophet Muhammad did was right. He said yes. I said you're confused then. Go back.
But a form of skepticism.
Yeah, you can.
A form of skepticism we find in the Quran as well. When Ibrahim alayhi salam, obviously when he's young, and he sees his parents, his father worshipping the idols, and then he looks to the stars, and then he looks to the moon, and he looks to the sun, and so on and so forth.
No, that's not. The Salaf never explained that.
I know, but that's obviously, is that not a form of skepticism?
No, that he was showing his people. He was asking, like for example, I say, like imagine you bring me a book. I said, this is my God. Yeah, this is not, he's not telling them, he's doubting Ibrahim. I said, no. He is showing them the foolishness of believing this is God. You understand? That's why the ulama mentioned the correct, strongest, that Ibrahim was not doubting. How Ibrahim is going to doubt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he has a fitrah? He already destroyed the idols. How is he going to doubt? But because remember, there's two types of shirk. Shirk occurred amongst nations in two ways. One in galaxies, the universe. The other ones in righteous and idols. Ibrahim, alayhi salam, his people, they were having shirk in galaxies, to believe in galaxies and the sun and the moon, they somehow have effects on the universe and control. So he was showing them, like he did with the idols. You understand? He said, what do they call it? فَعَلَهُ كَبِيرٌ. He's not telling them the Kabir did it. Yeah. He's just showing them that. Do you understand? So he was not skeptic about it.
But in the same way, is that not how other Muslims use philosophy? They don't necessarily believe the premise in of itself, but they just use the arguments from it to present it to these people and say, well, listen, this is what you're doing on the premise of logic. You know,
what is the premise of logic?
Well, it depends what you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying, akhi. If the philosopher said, I don't accept the premise of logic you're using, you have to prove to me this premise first.
Exactly, but obviously there's...
How are you going to
obviously there's regularities and patterns within the universe that there's things, obviously like the law of contradiction and all this stuff.
Yeah, but they bring doubt. They prove to me that doesn't happen. That's my point, as you say, we say with deen.
Safe.
Because, you know, safe, safe, you have to remember what we're talking about. Philosophy is a marad, it's a disease. Philosophers, like we accept, they don't believe daruriyat. And now when you accept their method is based upon trying to prove everything. You understand? So when you tell them, let us, based upon our argument on these premises, they're going to say, prove these premises is the premises itself. So a Muslim, what he does, either is going to entertain that and start proving and start playing, or he says, no, this is known by necessity. They're going to say, no, you are like awam. That's why the Asha'ira and the Maturidis, they say, is upon al-baligh, another first. You should not just blind follow. You understand? But believe in Allah, you're not blind following. You are following the fitra and the aql al-salim. You understand? So that's take us back. You're proving my point, akhi. Okay, let's demonstrate to us safe. You're speaking to a philosopher, atheist philosophers, yeah? What is the premise that you're going to agree with? What is the starting point?
I'm no expert in philosophy.
Akhi, you watch Muhammad Hijab's videos. He's speaking to some guys for 2 hours, akhi. The guy's bringing doubt, he's refuting it, bringing another doubt, he's refuting it. There is na'am. Some people maybe, they have marad, yes. And if you speak to him, but you can show them the contradiction of this philosophy. But I'm saying, akhi, don't entertain it for a long time and don't try to defend Islam. I'm not defending Islam. Like for example, I'm not defending Islam when I told the guy, give me the phone. I'm just showing him the stupidity of his claim, the foolishness for him to wake up. You understand? The foundation. But he could, you remember this guy, alhamdulillah, you can see, may Allah guide him. He woke up straight away. But if it's another philosopher, maybe if it's a philosopher who has disease, he can bring another argument against you. He said, yeah, but this and that, you understand, akhi? And you have to entertain that. No, simple.
You know,
You understand, akhi?
remember that brother that you was talking to that said he didn't know if he was there? They said he.
Assalamu alaikum.
The brother that he said he didn't know that was there.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah,
I had talked to him, and he had broken down the premise already.
Yeah.
He came to you 2 years later asking me the exact same questions.
Yeah. Wallah, I spoke to Sabur for 3 hours. He spoke to Muhammad Hijab for 2 hours.
What, the Asian guy?
Asian guy spoke to 3 hours. He spoke to Muhammad Hijab for 2 hours, yeah? But to be honest, majority of brothers speak to him. And it happened to me in the past, akhi. I'm not going to tell you it never happened to me. It happened to me in the past. When I speak to some atheists, I entertain the argument, I go for hours. And I leave them without giving a reminder about Day of Judgment. Well, that's not the Quranic teaching. The Quranic teaching is Allah said. Prophet Muhammad said. The companion said, Barakallahu fikum. You accept you're going to be the Jahannam, akhi.
Because I've heard other YouTubers, they say, you've got to use arguments outside the Quran to prove the Quran and things like that.
Yeah.
Read the Quran, there's arguments.
السلام عليكم.
يلا ان شاء الله
يا
في
بارك
الصلاة.
الله
بارك الله
فيك.
فيك.
حياكم الله سبحانك الله بحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. اخي, where's the brothers